Yankee. So, I mean,
I don't want to be I don't want to sound like a schmuck, but I just don't see those last two names as being retirement worthy.
but once again, it's if you were a fan of the team, you would. Because every time, their impact was huge. During those championship years, those five guys that we named, the three that you're talking about, plus Jeter and Rivera, those five are, in my opinion, linked forever as five of, one of the best five-player groups on any professional team that there was. And if you look at, the numbers back that up too. And you can't take away the impact that each one of them had on all their championships. And just their leadership, their camaraderie, and honestly, they were all, not one of those guys has had any off-the-field issues to where you're like, Pettit, I know, had that little run-in with the HGH and steroids when it came to Roger Clemens, but that wasn't really about him. That was about Clemens, and he kind of got pulled into it. But pretty much all of them, they're squeaky clean. They're not only are they great players, but they're respected individuals in not only sports but off the field. So that, to me, what they've done in the community, what they did on the team, I think is very worthy.
I don't know. Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Joe DiMaggio, Bernie Williams. It's something's lacking there. Mickey Mantle, Bernie Williams. Something's lacking there for me. It's not going to get it done. But anyway, we'll agree to disagree on this one.
Of course.
That's it. This show's a lot better when we disagree.
I know.
You don't necessarily like disagreeing with you all the time, but I don't take it the wrong way. I'm just kind of saying.
You have to have point counterpoint. There has to be.
Otherwise, it's just two boring white guys sitting in a corner smoking cigars, going, "Yep."
Who you calling a boring white guy?
Me, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so
yeah,
this, according to ESPN.com news services, if I can get my screen to respond here. Hold on 1 second, folks. With offense on the decline and strikeouts at an all-time high, Major League Baseball is looking into shrinking the strike zone, according to a Yahoo Sports report. Any formal rules change would have to be approved, blah, blah, blah. Over the past 5 seasons, the strike zone has expanded about 40 square inches. This is ridiculous. The largest part of that expansion is in the lower area of the strike zone, with umpires more frequently signaling strikes for pitchers below the kneecap. Low pitches are generally considered more difficult to handle for batters, blah, 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 blah. Okay. What's your take on Major League Baseball shrinking the strike zone?
So it's just funny that you have a league that's lacking excitement, and what you're going to do is take away strikeouts, which is exciting if you're rooting for that team, and replace it with more walks, which is not exciting for either team. You get a little woo if you're rooting for the team that just had a player walked, but that's where this is all going to end out. First off, you're going to have umpires who they pretty much make up their own strike zones. Everyone has a guideline they follow, but every strike zone is different. And then you're going to take away the opportunity for one of the most exciting plays in baseball, which is the strikeout. I don't understand it. It sounds like they're grasping at straws right now, and they're looking in the wrong area.
Now, granted, it still has to be approved, but let's break this down to brass tacks. Okay, you've got a game that is struggling to keep the attention of a younger, shorter attention span generation to the point where you are going to experiment with a pitch clock in the minor leagues, and you want to make the strike zone smaller so that you have more walks. You're not going to increase hitting by shrinking the strike zone.
You're
just going to increase walks, which is a necessary part of the game, but is the most boring aspect of the game, and you're therefore going to lengthen games. The games that are averaging about 3 hours a pop. Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Makes absolutely no sense to me. If this is going to be Adam Silver's initial dipping his toe in the water to see what kind of change he could bring to the game. Just stop. You want to make a change that matters? Stop making the All-Star game freaking determine home field advantage in the World Series.
See, I still don't mind that.
See, it just bothers me.
Because I think that's the one thing that makes the Major League Baseball All-Star game worth watching compared to all other sports. It's because it does actually mean something.
But then you have somebody like on a 40-win team playing outfield, possibly making plays that determine who gets an advantage in the World Series.
No, I'm not saying it's perfect, but I think like I said, it's made it better than any other sports All-Star game. So if you're going to have one, and, regardless of home field advantage is important, but you still need to go out and play. So it gives you something to play for. It gives you something at the end of the season to play even harder for.
Yeah, but you see, here's the thing. In baseball, home field advantage means, I think, more than in any other sport because you have the concept of last ups. You have a chance to end the game on a walk-off. There is no clock, obviously in baseball. You get a chance you get one last chance that the other guy doesn't get because he already had his chance. You get a chance to end the game on your terms if you're playing at home in the playoffs. I think it's a tremendous advantage, and I think it matters more in baseball than in any of the other major sports. And to take that away or have that manicured by an exhibition game is just wrong on so many levels. But getting back to the point, shrinking the strike zone isn't going to accomplish anything it isn't going to fix anything that's ailing baseball right now. No one's sitting here saying, well, the pitchers are striking out too many guys. No. And simply by shrinking the strike zone, it's not going to translate into more home runs because hitters are still going to swing at their pitch. They're still going to want the ball where they like it. You know what I mean? And you're actually going to cut down on the amount of swings because it's going to be that much harder for pitchers to get an advantage by striking out players. So people will just wait and get bait, and they'll take the base runners.
Yeah, and I still to the end of days, I think the biggest issue with baseball is the guarantee contracts and how ludicrous they are. Because you look at these players, very rarely do you have a great player that finally gets to the point where they get one of these multi-year $100 million contracts where they keep that level of excellence going. Most of them, they get the big contract, drops right off. Either they're getting too old or they just got their guaranteed money and they're not going to work as hard. And I think that's a problem. I think that's a huge problem because you don't have that. It's a greater disconnect with professional baseball because these guys are making ridiculous. I mean, you look at all the other professional sports, these guys are dwarfing them. I mean, I'm moaning about Jay Cutler making $20-some-odd million a year, and I don't think he's worth it. You have dozens of players in professional baseball making that much, and they're not worth it, more than dozens. And it's just, that's what's ludicrous to me. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I don't want to hear any argument from anybody about the fact that they play 182 games? 162 games. That's BS, because if you're a pitcher, you only play half of a game every 5-6 days at best. So that makes no sense to me. And people that bring that up, it's ridiculous. It has no bearing. And I think that's the biggest problem in baseball. Until they focus on that, until they get a salary cap and just get these contracts just somewhat realistic, I don't think they're ever going to come out of this slump.
Well, there you have it, folks. The law has been laid down.
I am the law.
We're out of time. You're listening to 87 Sports Fans live on Late Night Sports Radio. When we come back from the break, Jim Saranteas from thefantasygreek.com joined us for the NFL Hour. Offseason colonoscopy time, kids. The Atlanta Falcons are on deck. Don't miss it.
Baby, you're a mystery. Tell me what's a girl gotta do? Looking at the history, know, baby, it's true. I never know nobody like you. Baby, you're out and ignorant. Baby, you're a riddle, I'm caught up in the middle of you. I'm trying to think bigger, but I can't seem to figure it through. I wanna make it better, but now I'm